we are in the midst of what appears to be a colossal and history-making blackout.
People trapped in elevators and buildings. They have activated the emergency command center.
You're staggering, trying to take in as much information as you can.
Mayor Bloomberg's advice is to go straight home.
The subway system is down.
Ottawa is completely without power now.
The lightning-quick domino series of failures.
Gotta go to the bathroom and you can't even go nowhere.
50 million people are thought to have lost power.
In 2003, a massive blackout struck major areas of the U.S. and Canada and was perceived as a wake-up call for the nation.
We've got a real crisis in our grid, and this is why, despite being a superpower, we have a grid that is comparable to a third world country, and that's not right.
Wind or water yet in downtown New Orleans. Hard to believe that in just a few hours we may be inundated. Obviously, the low-lying parishes along the coast are getting this tidal surge and getting swamped first, but it hasn't happened yet in New Orleans.
Tell us about the people inside of the Superdome and what conditions are like in there.
You know, the Superdome has refused to let the media inside the Superdome. The National Guard is directing...
This is how dark it is, yo. Like, you don't see nothing. Totally downtown, B. Nothing. It's really, really dark. If it wasn't for that car with the lights, it's crazy dark. Like, even the buildings. It's a ghost town. There's nothing is, yo, it's really, really dark. Pitch black.
There it is, tornado.
Hail and damaging winds are accompanying a volatile storm system working its way east from Iowa down into Louisiana. One that forecasters warn will likely produce dangerous tornadoes before this night is over. In fact, we want to show you a live picture right now out of Stromsburg, Nebraska. We're told what appears to be a tornado forming right now. Storm trackers capturing this image on what is virtually an empty road. You can't quite make it out. We saw it a bit earlier, what appeared to be the beginning of a funnel. We'll continue to track that.
It was captured on surveillance video. You can see a brief streak of light, perhaps a flashlight carried by an attacker. Then come the sparks. They are bullets hitting the chain-link fence that surrounds the Pacific Gas and Electric, or PG&E substation in San Jose, a station that feeds power to Silicon Valley. California Congressman Henry Waxman says it shows our electrical grid isn't adequately protected for both cyber and now physical attacks.
This was an unprecedented and sophisticated attack on an electric grid substation using military-style weapons.
Son of a breach, here we go again. Hackers once again going after our public power supplies, and it looks like in this case they pretty much succeeded. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and the Department of Homeland Security issuing an alarming new report I bet you haven't heard much about, but you should. Its cyber emergency response team disclosing that a public utility here in the U.S. was recently compromised. The intruder hacking his or her way into the utility's main control system. In other words, not just ripping up wires, getting right into the belly of the beast. Add that to the military-style attack on an electrical substation in California last year. And it's no wonder why security officials are so nervous today. We're going to talk to two of them in a moment.
This is devastating to their lives. Their whole life is turned upside down. And these are not people of great means in many instances. She was ready to collapse, and she said, I can't do this again. She had about a foot of mud that she had just removed from her house. And then they look at this town, and they see the same old political games here. This is a political game, holding this up. It's a purely political game. And they don't, these people whose lives have been devastated several times over the last couple of years, they don't have time for some budget guy in Washington to sharpen his pencil and figure out whether or not we respond as Americans to emergencies or not. That's a basic value. This isn't some budget debate. This is purely a political game. And people who are standing in the way, they should get out of the way and go to these communities and talk to some of these people. So we should get this passed as soon as humanly possible. and stop the games and pretending it's about budgets.
The last story I want to talk about today is FEMA. FEMA was a huge backer for Hurricane Katrina, giving them money, helping rebuild the city, helping out the families, supposedly. But now FEMA is writing notices to about 83,000 people saying, hey, we kind of messed up and we need some of that money back. Now, the average amount that everyone has to pay back is roughly around $4,600. Just because FEMA screwed up, didn't get their calculations right, there were errors on the employees' parts, these people should not have to pay it back.
Warehouses full of plates, cups, and dinnerware. Brand new coffee makers, stoves, cleaning supplies. $85 million worth of household items. FEMA says some of it was donated, though most of it purchased by the federal government to help Katrina victims.
This is the kitchen.
Like Deborah Reed, recover from one of the deadliest hurricanes in U.S. history.
It's unreal because we haven't received none of this. And I know I haven't.
CNN uncovered these items never made it to many of those still struggling. Instead, we learned FEMA just kept these items in storage for the last 2 years, then gave it all away to other federal and state agencies for free.